Welcome back to Noir Alley. I'm your docent in the darkness, Eddie Muller, and happy to be back on my very own set. Today I have a film that's lurked under the radar since it was first released in 1948. It's Walk a Crooked Mile, released through Columbia Pictures. It has the distinction of being one of the first Cold War movies, made specifically to cash in on the growing anti-communist crusade that followed the end of the Second World War, when the United States and the Soviet Union, wartime allies against the Axis powers, turned into enemies. In today's film, FBI agents hunt Soviet spies who are infiltrating U.S. atomic testing labs. The film's producer, Edward Small, wanted to replicate the surprising success of his own T-Men, a noirish semi-documentary thriller about undercover treasury agents that was released the previous year. Well, Small was on a roll, having followed T-Men with another brilliant low-budget noir, Raw Deal, released in the spring of '48. Like T-Men, it featured Dennis O'Keefe as its star. Well, Eddie Small began in show business as a talent agent, and Dennis O'Keefe, real name Bud Flanagan, remained Small's primary client even after his agent became one of the most prolific independent producers in the business. T-Men transformed O'Keefe from a lightweight comedic actor to a square-jawed tough guy, and Small wasted no time exploiting the actor's new persona. While he always retained the easygoing manner and natural charm he brought to lighter fare, in crime movies O'Keefe displayed a gravitas and tight-lipped way with a wisecrack reminiscent of Dana Andrews, another one-time crooner who found a niche in noir. Under Small's banner, T-Men and Raw Deal were created by the same dynamic duo, director Anthony Mann and cinematographer John Alton. But by the time this film went into production, only a couple of months after Raw Deal wrapped, Mann had been lured away to helm bigger projects at MGM. Small entrusted the show to Gordon Douglas, who'd spent the last few years directing B films for RKO. This was his first significant feature, and Douglas displays a deft hand with the material. Maybe not as visceral and stylish as Anthony Mann, but full of vigor and a real flair for on-location shooting. The cinematographer here is George Robinson, a silent film actor turned cameraman who spent most of his career shooting Abbott and Costello and Ma and Pa Kettle pictures at Universal. I have no doubt that Eddie Small projected T-Men and Raw Deal for Robinson and said, "Make it look like that." The title, Walk a Crooked Mile, makes absolutely no sense for this story. You'll see in the opening crawl how awkwardly it's explained. The original title was The Face of Treason. Then it was changed to FBI versus Scotland Yard, which the Hollywood office of the FBI wanted changed to FBI meets Scotland Yard. But Eddie Small dropped the FBI altogether after learning how meddlesome its director, J. Edgar Hoover, could be about films featuring his organization. Hoover had enjoyed a big hit collaborating with producer Louis de Rochemont on The House on 92nd Street, in which the FBI showed off its surveillance techniques in what was almost a recruiting film. In that 1945 Fox picture, the Bureau was after a ring of Nazi spies operating stateside. The government hadn't yet marshaled its offensive against the communists. But by '48, the House Committee on Un-American Activities was underway, and the FBI wanted a new version of that 1945 hit. But unlike Louis de Rochemont, Eddie Small had no interest in letting Hoover serve as a co-producer. After he refused to let the agency approve George Bruce's screenplay, Hoover demanded that all references to the FBI be removed from the film. Small held fast, asserting that as a public agency, the FBI was fair game for fictional treatment. In the end, the only significant change was to the title. Hoover still felt compelled to write a letter to the New York Times, stressing that his agency had nothing to do with making the film and did not sanction it. Well, noir fans will enjoy seeing one of the genre's favorite heavies, Raymond Burr, in a pivotal role. The Lenin-like goatee is a major tip-off as to who's a Bolshevik spy. Well, this was a breakout year for Burr, who had vivid roles in two other terrific 1948 noir films, Raw Deal and Pitfall. And while this film never reaches the heights of T-Men or Raw Deal, it's an exciting procedural, greatly enlivened by being shot largely on actual locations in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Also starring Louis Hayward and Louise Albritton, here is Walk a Crooked Mile.